Ladies and gentlemen, I have an update on East Palestine, Ohio. This is some of the residents that were gathered for a meeting, and they look just like I would imagine they look. A lot of middle aged to elderly people, just like I kind of pictured in my head. So let's get into this because I'm surprised that they are still sitting in this place. So the air was recently tested in East Palestine, and toxic pollutants are still in the air after they tested, which would make sense. I mean, remember the chemicals went everywhere. It went in the ground, it went in virtually everything, the grass, the trees, the roads, the water. So I would imagine, I'm not an expert and don't claim to be one, but I would imagine those pollutants are going to be in the air for years to come because it is just so embedded everywhere. I mean, how do you even eat anything? You can't even eat the fruit that the trees are going to bear. You can't eat any of the vegetation that's growing out of the ground. I mean, the ground is completely toxic there, you know? So I'm not surprised that the air is still tested, testing with the pollutants in it. But despite that happening, y'all, I mean, and it's only been 3 weeks since this spill happened. So it's no way 3 weeks later everything would be good. But the EPA is trying to say it's still okay for them to be there. And I don't know how you can tell them that when you don't, what do you have to compare to this situation where it would make sense that it would be safe to be there? And just remember, a lot of times it's the same case with Flint, Michigan. The people that are telling you it's safe are the ones that don't even live there. I mean, just like Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, they got all these people coming in there over the water, but all of those people don't live in Jackson. They're not dealing with that water. The water coming out of the faucet brown, and they're telling you it's safe. You know, at the end of the day, for this government, it's always money first. It's always, always money first. They don't care about the people, they care about the cash flow. So, 3 weeks after the toxic train derailment in Ohio, an independent analysis of the EPA data found 9 air pollutants that is still persistent around that area. They don't know what it's going to do to the long term health of the people of East Palestine. They don't know. But they're telling them it's okay to be there. Okay, so what if it's not okay to be there and they start dying off? What is the government going to do then? You told them to stay. It's okay. An analysis by Texas A&M University researchers stands in contrast to the statement by the state and federal regulators that air near the crash site is completely safe despite residents complaining about rashes, breathing problems, and other health effects. In response on Friday, EPA officials said the air quality levels of 79 chemicals they are monitoring remains below levels of concern for short-term exposure, and that current concentrations are likely to dissipate. Do you believe that? Do you believe once the chemicals is now in the ground and in the water and on virtually everything? It would even have to be on the homes there and everything. So you would believe that it's safe because a government agency told you that? Now, see, I know why we don't trust the government because this government has done us wrong a multitude of times. But folks that you see in this picture, they tend to believe the government a lot more than we do. I understand why we don't have any trust in the government. We got so many examples on how we've been double crossed or been done wrong, and this government looked the other way or either participated in the wrongdoing. So I can understand why we feel this way. But these folks, they tend to believe the government a lot more than we do. So, but the data only adds to questions and concerns that have weighed on residents for weeks as they wonder how contaminated their community has become. So, there was a story out there probably about 2 days ago that the residents said they still feel sick, and there were some chickens that they had. And they said the chickens are laying eggs that have like a purple like hue on the eggs. And that tells me the chicken and those eggs are probably not edible. You really should just destroy those chickens. A chicken that's laying purple like eggs, I don't think you should even be eating the chicken. But I'm just saying. So, anyway, if everything was fine, then something like that should not be showing up in the animal, but it is. So, that's really an indicator that something is really wrong and that this thing is not at a safe level like the EPA is saying. So, in its examination of EPA data, and the Texas A&M researchers found elevated levels of chemicals known to trigger eye and lung irritation, headaches, and other symptoms, as well as some of that are known or suspected to cause cancer. I don't know if I ever told you this story before. Here in New Jersey, in Mount Laurel, there was one street where every adult and even the children all got cancer. And for years, they were trying to find out what was going on. It was not everywhere in Mount Laurel, it was just one street. One street. Everybody had cancer. Even the pets had cancer. The dogs and cats had cancer. And the people on the street and the children died. And some of the people that were survived but still had cancer, they had to all relocate. This street, nobody can live on now. Nobody can live on that street. But it was not everywhere, but it was just something about that one street. And they tested and tested and tested and could not come up with a reason on why everything that lived on that street got cancer. Never could figure it out. So now they just don't sell over there. They'll sell all around that street, but they won't sell anything on that street. So, I mean, these things do happen. But I think right now, in my opinion, the way the EPA is doing it, I don't think that's acceptable, but I don't live there. So the EPA officials emphasized this point Friday. They stressed that the safety threshold the researchers use to analyze the data assumes constant exposure over a lifetime and said they don't expect the pollutant to remain in high concentrations everywhere near the long near that long. So they're saying there are high levels of benzene and related chemicals. And they're saying the air levels was not elevated, but they said the EPA, what they did was measure for certain substance, hazardous substance found in the smoke and concentrations that could have a long-term health effect, along with other chemicals at lower levels in combination could also arrive health concerns if they remain at these levels for months or years. That's what I'm saying. It is way too soon for them to say something is safe, and it's only been 3 weeks. But this is what they're doing. 3 weeks and you already know. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. But I guess people can believe whatever they want. I don't believe in 3 weeks something of that, and this thing was huge, and I think they have tried very hard in the media to downplay it, but I really think this is far more serious than anything we've been told. And see, this media, they are notorious for downplaying serious things. That's why it's really best to come online, read your news, and determine for yourself how you feel. Don't let them make you think that you got to go along with anything they say, because at the end of the day, even something this serious, they'll sit there and use all kinds of propaganda. You don't need propaganda when your life is on the line, or your children or your grandchildren's lives are on the line. You don't need propaganda. You need the truth. And that's one thing about America media. America media don't believe in the truth. They'll sit there and string you along every single day. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, um, what they're saying is there is potential concern about long-term health effects. And while some of the highest air pollution readings the EPA reported were collected in the days after the controlled substance release, some more recent samples remain to be elevated. We can't say whether these levels are causing the current symptoms because people are still feeling sick. 3 weeks later, do you know what this could be doing to their bodies? Just in this short period of time, it could be damage that just can't be reversed at this point. So, we want to definitely make sure these higher levels that are detected would be reduced before they left and declare everything uh, cleaned up. So, they do have the people out there in the hazmat um, suits and boots and gloves and everything and the air mask. They are out there now trying to clean up. So the EPA, while they're out there, conducted indoor air tests in about 570 homes and found no contaminants associated with the derailment inside. The agency continues to test the air through 20 monitors around East Palestine area, as well as via aircraft and other mobile detection equipment, and said it has not detected any levels of air pollution associated with the derailment that triggered health concerns from short term exposure. I don't believe them. I'm just telling y'all, people are in and out of their houses. You're opening and closing doors. You're opening and closing garage doors. You know what I mean? I find it hard to believe there is no pollutants in the house and everything in the air and everything around the house is polluted. I don't believe them. And how are the people indoors getting so sick then? Because they've been outdoors. So isn't it kind of counterproductive if the air quality is bad on the outside, but these people got to go on and live life and they're going to be indoors and outdoors and they're still sick. They can't be hermits and stay in all the time. So, isn't it counterproductive to their health? Even if it tested okay indoors and these folks got to go out, they got to go to work, they got to get groceries and pay bills and be out and about. Isn't that counterproductive? Even if you came up with that reading? Well, you know, everybody got an opinion. They have somebody from John Hopkins, from public health, talking about the situation, and they're all pretty much saying the same thing. They don't know what the long-term effect is. You're not going to know. You may not know for the next year or two how it impacted the people there. So I guess it's up to them to decide whether they're going to stay there or leave at the end of the day. Nobody can make them do anything. But of course, there are a lot of people in fear of the water is still a big fear there. And, they're talking about the contaminated foam that the firefighters used, that's also in the ground, and the forever chemicals, which seems to be everywhere in the United States. I said, boy, y'all really know how to F everything up. You really do. Forever chemicals in the damn water. Y'all, never mind. I got a lot to say about that, but let's move on. So, they're still telling people that have wells not to use the water and to use bottled water. So we shall see. I will definitely keep up with this story to see if people are still there or some of the people just decided to move on. They can certainly stay in Ohio if that's what they want to do, but perhaps just get out of that area that's badly contaminated right now. But this government don't do anything to clean anything thoroughly up. Look at the Flint, Michigan water crisis that's still going on. And Jackson, Mississippi, they said that water's been like that for more than 100 years. And this government has never done anything about that. So my thing is, they don't care about you. They care about money. And they're going to always put money over people. That's what they do in this capitalistic society. When you run everything on capitalism, they don't have time to care about the people. That's just how it is. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.